Well, good day everyone and welcome to my shop. Today we're going to go over the 6GT that I just finished. I just got back from the range with it, and we're going to go over the results of that. But first we're going to talk about the components that went into making it, one of which I think is pretty cool. So we're going to start with the barrel. The barrel is a Bartlien 5R rifled 7.5 twist carbon fiber barrel. Finished length of 24 inches. That was kind of a gamble for me. I've never used Bartlien carbon fiber barrels. I've always used proof or carbon 6, mostly proof because I don't like the wait time on the carbon 6, but they are exceptional barrels. And when you have success with something, it's really hard for me to deviate from that. For most anybody that knows me, as far as steel barrels go, Bartlien is at the top of my list. Brux is right up there. Krieger's right up there. Those are kind of my three go-to barrels in steel. On the carbon fiber, it's probably 99.5% proof, just because of they shoot excellent and availability over like carbon 6. The action is an impact action. These are really solid actions. In the PRS world, I think it used to be the #1 selling action in the world. I think that is still the case. They're just flawless. Custom action, beautiful action. It has a H&S precision drop bottom magazine, bottom metal. 4-shot clip. I'll get into that in just a minute. The stock is this is a custom black walnut stock. I made this stock. It took me quite a while, but I don't know that there's any call to really do that unless you're a production stock maker anymore in today's age of chassis and wood chassis combinations and carbon fiber and fiberglass stocks. You can get really nice stock without the time and the money invested in this, but it's a very pretty stock. I'm glad I did it. It's been a lot of years since I made a stock. What's unique to this stock is it has an aluminum block bedded into it. So this doesn't use pillars, and it's not wood. It's a solid aluminum block that's the stock is inlet for, and then the block is bedded to the wood, and then everything just fits perfect. There is a process I use to check that to make sure it does sit perfect. We'll get into that later at a later date. But yeah, really, I'm very happy with how this stock came out. Has a 1-inch Pachmayr recoil pad, and then on top of that, it has my Callus 6x24x56 scope in a spur mount. That is an outstanding setup. That's one of my favorite scopes. We'll talk about scopes in a later video. Trigger is a TriggerTech Diamond. That's kind of like my go-to in almost everything, unless somebody really wants a factory trigger, or Bix & Andy's a good trigger. I think at one time there was some issues with impact with the TriggerTech triggers. There's a twister for you, where you would kind of have some misfires with the relation between impact and TriggerTech. I have not had any issues with this at all. Of course, it doesn't have a lot of rounds through it, but what we did put through it today, it was pretty good, and it worked absolutely flawless, smooth. It fired when it was supposed to. It extracted and ejected, and everything was just the way it should be. So I have not had that experience with impact actions combined with the TriggerTechs. I've had very, very good luck with those. So I don't know what's up with that. And maybe they got it fixed since that issue. That issue seemed to be prevalent probably 4 years ago. Anyway, outside of that, we took it to the range, and we'll show you that here up close and personal in just a minute. Took it to the range, bore sighted at 50 yards. It was about 1.5 to 2 inches low, which I thought was just unreal. Like I couldn't believe it, because if you're 1.5 to 2 inches low at 50, you're going to be pretty much spot on at 100, and I'm going to show you that on the target here in a minute. So I took one shot, walked down. I said, that can't be right. Walked down there, looked. Sure enough, I was seeing everything. I wasn't delusional. Stepped it right out to 100 yards. I think the total round count through this gun right now is 10 rounds. I had one bore sighting shot. Kind of got every, I didn't have to really do much. I just moved out to 100, let her rip, and you'll see that in a minute. It was dead. I mean, it was dead true. It was spot on. And then I adjusted up maybe 2/10. This is a This is a Milrad scope, so I adjusted up 2/10 just because I was like, this can't be right. What's going on here? And then 8 rounds, almost 7 of which went right through the same hole. I mean, it's crazy, and we're going to look at that in a minute. So I'm very, very impressed with the Bartlien Carbon Fiber, and I wouldn't hesitate at all to use that. I use a lot of Bartlien barrels. Every now, usually on a bore site, I think every now and again I'll get one that's just crazy spot on. I think the big factor with a lot of this is this setup was zeroed for a 6 arc. So, we're running a little bit faster with the 6 GT. But the base settings are I guess, pretty darn true. I didn't really have to do anything on the scope side of life, so I was thrilled with that. That being said, let's jump in and we'll take a look at this here target. Okay, so this is our target. This is a 2x2 square. That's all it needed. So I had one cold bore, one cold bore shot that was an inch and a half, 2 inches low, moved straight out to 100 yards. This was shot 1 and shot 2, and mind you, this is a brand new barrel. These are the first rounds through it. So this is the first shot, second shot, third shot. I made an adjustment of 2/10 of a mil, maybe a tenth. I think it was a tenth, maybe 2. Either way, it doesn't matter, just to see, because I kind of couldn't believe that right off the bat. That was the 4th shot, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are right in here. This is factory 109 ELD Hornady match ammo. The advertised muzzle velocity on that, I want to say, is around 2870. My low was 2828. My high was 2900. It averaged out to be about 2855. So it was very, very good ammo, very quality ammo. But the one thing I noticed is on those the high 28s and 29s, boy, they really they really punch right through that hole. It was remarkable. And then what's crazy is if you measure that whole group from center to center, that whole group is 0.598 inches. So we're 10 shots or 9 shots sub MOA accuracy on a brand new barrel. why is that? So why am I so excited about that? If you don't know, new barrels, you know, I don't ever get too excited about groups until I'm down about 100 or so rounds, because that's when everything starts to tighten up. The barrel gets broke in, and this is just going to be insane. I can't wait to hear what this thing does is about at about 100 rounds. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, 5 with the bore sight. The next 5 shots all went through this little area right here, which center to center. That's awful small, guys. It's hard to tell. I need to put a center to center. You're conservatively, my caliper's reading 0.1615. Shoot, call it 0.17 if you want. That's just insane. And factory ammunition. You can't. This is probably one of the best shooting rifles I've come along with in a while. So anyway, let's take it apart and I'll show you the stock. So here we have it all taken apart. I still have to engrave the barrel for the caliber and twist rate, but we've got the Hawkins, or excuse me, not Hawkins, but the H&S Precision bottom metal, 4-shot magazine, the action and barrel scope. Here's the cool thing. This is the stock that I built, and this is what makes it right here. And what's nice is I can see that it has, with these wear marks where the action has mated to the block, is pretty true. And you can tell that by when you screw your action down, secure your barrel, and then you can put an indicator on it and just loosen the screw and tighten the screw, and that'll give you a good, with a dial indicator on it, and or a test indicator, and that'll tell you how good your bedding or your block is. And I'll do a video on that some other time. But what I want to do is, this was kind of crazy, because I got so caught up in building the stock, I forgot that the action was DBM, and you cannot go from DBM to a BDL. So what I ended up doing was, because I already had this inlet for a BDL bottom metal, is H&S Precision makes a drop-in assembly, and it drops in, and it works great. You can see I had to modify for the magazine release right here just a little bit. As long as you don't get into this aluminum block, everything is pretty good. My next step with this, I've got one more stock that I'm building, and I'm kind of done unless I get a duplicator or something, because this takes a long time. But I need to see if I can do this for an M5 bottom metal, to where it takes the AICS magazines. They're more universal. It's not a specialized magazine. You can get them anywhere. But the problem is it's a lot wider than the BDL or H&S Precision bottom metal. And what you need to be careful of, if I just need to relieve wood, that's cool. We can make that work. But if I start getting into that bedding block, that's not good, because you're going to lose rigidity, and that's just a bad deal. I mean, there's ways to make it rigid again, but then you're going down the rabbit hole of cost inefficiency. I think the two are pretty closely related. So anyway, that's a stock. I'm pretty proud of that, actually. It came out really nice. It's been, golly, probably 20 years since I've built a stock, and it's been probably 6 or 7 since I've done a bedding block. I do it a little bit different on a single shot. I may cover that in a later video. I don't know. That's kind of a proprietary process. And this was quite a chore making that, but it was a good test of just getting back into the daily grind of building rifles and things. And you don't see that very often. That's kind of the biggest, coolest thing about this, honestly, is you just don't see that anymore in today's world. And it was just kind of neat to go through and do that 1 or 2 more times. All right, guys, I guess that'll about wrap it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my Custom 6 GT. It's a pretty cool round. I think it has a tremendous amount of potential if you're a reloader. I mean, really, with the availability of the 6mm bullets that are out there, this can do a lot of things. So it's really exciting. Hopefully in the next video, I don't know if we're going to be talking about vertical stringing and what causes that. I had a lot of questions on that, and I had a rifle that I built that was exhibiting that, and for that platform it's not uncommon. But upcoming videos, we're going to have a video on mechanical causes of vertical stringing. By mechanical, I mean not shooter related. And then I've also am in the process of finishing up a fast twist 270. I don't know that we're going to get into a bunch of how-tos on that, but I can show you a lot of the things that I use to true up factory actions the way I like to in fire control systems. But that's going to be a pretty fun build. This is 270 month. It's their anniversary. I can't think of a better way than to do a fast twist 270. That's going to be, I can't wait to see what that guy does with that. And then we're going to do we're going to talk a little bit about scopes. That'll be in an upcoming video. I've got a scope to try out, and it seems, I've had it for a while, but it seems, you see a lot of videos on it, and you know, people are just getting it. It seems like I've had this for a while, and we'll talk about it. But anyway, that's what's coming down the pipe. Until then, we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everyone.